Thank you very much, Kuya Roy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Um, maayong buntag, kanatong tanan, magandang umaga po. Just a quick recap of what happened in the past 2 weeks. The House Prosecution Panel was able to again establish the facts based on the testimonies presented by Mr. Kalilong and Lotok. On the part of Mr. Kalilong, the House Prosecution Panel was able to establish again the facts surrounding the digital evidence na presenta po sa korte. Ito po yung nakita natin, nagbanta ang Vice Presidente laban kay Presidente sa unang ginang at sa former Speaker of the House of Representatives. Tinahi po ito when Attorney Lotok again sufficiently corroborated the testimony of Mr. Kalilong with prima facie evidence to proceed with the filing of the complaint for preliminary investigation with a reasonable certainty of conviction. Again, both testimonies were not refuted. Nandito na po tayo sa punto wherein we are approaching the end of Article 4. Our last witness that we will present tomorrow will be Director Matibag para po masagot at matahi yung mga hanging questions na tinanong po in the previous 2 weeks kay last week kay Mr. Lotok. So ito po yung magiging finale nitong Article 4, ang presentasyon ng House Prosecution Panel kay Director Matibag at ang pagbibigay po niya ng information, facts surrounding the preliminary investigation conducted by the NBI. So inaasahan po natin bukas ay maririnig po natin ang testimonya ni NBI Director Matibag. Jay?
Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So, as you would recall also, during the last hearing last week, last Wednesday, the parties engaged in oral arguments to advance their respective positions with respect to the prosecution's request for the issuance of subpoena to compel the presentation, or the submission of the various financial documents of the Vice President and her husband, as well as their financial interest. This includes their BIR filings, the AMLAC records, and bank records. So, as you know, during last week's hearing, the parties, after they presented their oral arguments and their rebuttals, the impeachment court decided to continue the oral arguments today to allow the senator judges to ask questions to either of the parties. With respect to this matter, we just want to emphasize the importance of today's proceedings. Unang-una ho, gusto namin klaruhin, ang hinihingi ho namin dito ay presentasyon pa lang ho nitong mga official records na to. Wala pa hong mangyayaring paghahatol dito, at hindi pa rin ho ito pagtanggap ng ebidensya. Ito pa lang ho ay para mabigyan ng pagkakataon na mapresenta itong mga dokumento na to at masuri ng magkabilang panig. As we've emphasized before, these financial documents are very important, particularly with respect to the articles of impeachment on unexplained wealth, or the Article 2. Dahil sa pamamagitan ng mga dokumentong ito, dito ho natin makikita yung complete financial standing ng Vice Presidente. Again, we have to emphasize, ang hinihingi ho namin dito ay subpoena. Ano hong ibig sabihin ng subpoena? In particular, subpoena duces tecum. Ito ho ay order issued by the impeachment court to compel these different government agencies as well as the banks to submit these very important financial records. Okay. Tulad ho ng nasabi namin dati, napakahalaga ho na maikumpara natin ang buong yaman na dineklara ng Vice Presidente sa kanyang SALN, or the Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth, at ikumpara ito dun sa kanyang mga BIR tax filings. Ano ho ito? Ito ho yung taon-taon na sinasubmit ng lahat ng tao na nagtatrabaho or may lawful income para sabihin for any particular year, ito yung kabuuang kita ng taong ito. So in other words, sa kanila ho ito nanggaling. These are sworn documents. Sila ho ang nag-submit ng mga dokumento na to. Pagkatapos ho, with respect to the AMLAC records, we would recall that these matters were actually presented already by the executive director of the AMLAC, which showed that the Vice President had financial transactions amounting to around 6.7 billion pesos. Ngayon, itatahi din ho ito dun sa mga bank records para makita naman magkano talaga ang linalaman ng mga bangko, no, ng Vice Presidente. So dyan ho, kaya ganyan ho na napakahalaga ng mga dokumento na to para maikumpara natin ano ang dineklarang yaman at ano ang totoong yaman at ano din ang legal na kita. Dahil ang posisyon ho, ng prosecution, as stated in the articles of impeachment, napakalayo ho no, ng disparity ng dineclare na yaman at ano ang totoong yaman.
Right, with that, we are ready to accept your questions. Haji?
Good morning po. May mga nag-rally po sa labas. I don't know kung nakita po ninyo. I think yung Bantay Senado po yata yun and other groups. They're calling on the senators na payagan na po yung pagpapasubpina doon sa tax and bank records. Sabi po nila, pag hindi po nagawa yon, mawawalan daw po ng saysay yung kabuuang pagliliti. So parang ang call po nila is kalampagin yung mga senators, sulatan, mag-post sa social media, etc. But do you share the same sentiment with the groups na yun nga po, mawawalan daw po ng saysay? Kapag hindi po hinayaan na mabuksan yung mga records po na ito, syempre in pursuit of accountability.
Well, sa una, I think the Filipino people understand what is at stake here. Dito sa usaping na impeachment trial. Ang at stake po dito ay yung ating saligang batas talaga at yung pananagutan kung saan binigyan ng kapangyarihan ng saligang batas ang Senado, katangi-tanging kapangyarihan, exclusive power to try and decide impeachment complaint. Ang sinasabi po ng House Prosecution Panel as sufficiently and aptly discussed by Congressman Shell Jokno in his oral argument, dapat po ang Senado hindi iklip ang itong kapangyarihan na ito. Dapat hindi i-restrict ang Senado acting as impeachment court para ma-access niya yung dapat na mga material na ebidensya na magiging importante or indispensable para ito po ang mag-arrive into a fair, impartial, and sound judgment based on the evidence that they have to obtain. Yung sinabi po ni Attorney Jay kanina, ito po ay pagbibigay access para po yung subpoena na po yun, makuha po itong mga material na ito na very important for the court to have a accurate basis for them or reference for them to arrive into a conclusion, a sound and impartial conclusion. Kaya nga po kami sa House Prosecution Panel, nakikita natin yung ano yung nagiging reaksyon ng taong bayan. Dahil alam nila, naintindihan nila na ito lang yung paraan kung paano ang Senado ay mabigyang yung kanilang magiging pagsusuri ay it will lead also to them not only resolving the case but also to exercise yung kanilang katangi-tanging kapangyarihan. The truth shall set us free. And I'm not mentioning this based solely on religious tone. Ito, naiintindihan po ito ng ating taong bayan. And if we go back to our experience in the past, yung nangyari po dun sa kay Estrada impeachment trial, yung taong bayan dahil it was not, the envelope was, it was not opened, the people felt betrayed because of the blocking of the opening of the second envelope. And yun po yung kanilang, yun po yung nakikita po natin na kung saan po sila, ang ating taong bayan, nanggagaling. No? So, Tayo naman po, dahil ni-request naman po natin itong sa mga documents na ito, ay naiintindihan po natin ang ating taong bayan, yung clamor nila, yung demand nila for accountability, yung demand nila for the Senate acting as impeachment court to exercise that extraordinary power and not to allow the fundamental law of the land be subservient to ordinary laws. No? Kasi ang nagsasabi naman po dito ang ating saligang batas na ang kapangyarihan ng Senado. So kung ano po yung mga batas na mention po in the oral argument by the defense, these should not be reasons to curtail the right of the Senate acting as impeachment court because the basis for them to exercise this power is granted to them by the fundamental law of the land, which is the 1987 Philippine Constitution.
Let me also add, naririnig namin at sumasang-ayon kami, no, sa panawagan at paniniwala ng ating mga kababayan, no, na napakahalaga na makita itong mga dokumento na to para makita natin ang kabuuan na yaman ng Vice Presidente at ito ang paraan para makita natin yung katotohanan, no, paukol sa bagay na to dito sa unexplained wealth. At alalahanin din natin, no, bukod sa napaka-importanting rason na kailangan ito para makita ang buong katotohanan, our request is based on strong legal grounds, no? As articulated by Kong Shell Jokno during the oral arguments. Matibay ho ang basehan namin dito. It's grounded in the Constitution, the special laws governing this specific financial documents. It's based on jurisprudence and impeachment precedent, no? Tulad ho dun sa nangyari doon sa impeachment proceedings ng late Chief Justice Corona, no? At malahag ho din siguro na I have to point out again, no, doon sa proceedings before the House of Representatives, no, pinakita itong mga AMLAC records, no, which disclosed that the Vice President and her husband had financial transactions amounting to 6.7 billion pesos. I have to emphasize that, 6.7 billion pesos. Ano ang naging tugon nila dito? Ang naging explanation ng kampo ng Vice Presidente ay these numbers were supposedly bloated, no? Dahil lang sinasabi nila, pwede dito may pumasok na same na pera, lumabas ulit at pumasok na naman, no? Kaya naka-reflect daw siya dito sa mga AMLAC reports na to. Pwede din ho daw na interbank transfers, meaning from one bank account ng Vice Presidente, linipat lang sa kabilang bank account niya. Let's remember, in the SALN, the total net worth that was declared was only 80 million. If we're talking about 6.7 billion in financial transactions, gaano kadaming beses ho yan papalabasin at papapasok ko ng paulit-ulit. Now, kung ganun ho ang kanilang depensa, no, hindi ho ba makakatulong para sa lahat at para din sa kanila na buksan itong mga bank records na to para once and for all masettle magkaano ba talagang linalaman ng mga bank accounts niya? No? Lalo na kung ang sinasabi niya ay ganyan ang paliwanag, no? Na itong same amount na to, lumabas-pasok, naging bloated itong mga figures stated, no, in the AMLAC reports. So, makakatulong ho ito sa lahat, no? Para din ho sa kanila. Kung yan ang posisyon nila, no? Para mapatunayan na talagang inosente sila sa charges na ito.
Just to follow up lang po. Nakikita niyo po ba na yung bigat na mayahalin tulad po siya doon sa envelope during the Estrada trial, yung galit po nung publiko, the same. Kumbaga, kung halimbawang hindi po, of course, hindi naman po ninyo pinapangunahan, ano? Pero kung halimbawang hindi po mapagbigyan or mapasabi na yung mga tax at bank records po na ito, mayahalin tulad po ba ninyo yung bigat doon sa envelope na hindi po nabuksan nung Estrada trial?
Well, considering the gravity of what's at stake here, no? we will understand that kind of sentiment. Pero kami, we're hoping na hindi na ho tayo umabot doon. Totally, napakaliwanag naman, no, ng basehan kung bakit dapat buksan ito. No? Ito ay nakapaloob sa Constitution. No? Pati ho, itong mga special laws governing these financial transactions, pinapayagan din ho ang disclosure niyan. Jurisprudence supports it. And as I've stated, pati ho doon sa nakaraan na impeachment proceedings, pinayagan ho ito. So, nananalig ho kami na hindi na ho tayo umabot sa ganong punto. No? At our request will be granted based on those strong legal basis. Ano ho.
Ang gusto lang naman ng taong bayan, very simple. Katotohanan. No? I think they deserve that na may bigay na sa atin, may bigay na natin sa kanila ang katotohanan. Kasi unang-una, pag yung nangyari kasi, you try to reference that with the Estrada impeachment court, feeling nila na doble yung betrayal sa kanila. No? I think the people now realize that na ang deserve lang talaga nilang malaman, not necessarily to convict the respondent, but to know the truth, no? Even if you try to analyze it on both ways, may karapatan din. Even yung mga supporters po ng respondent, Vice President Duterte, may karapatan din po sila malaman kung yung sinusuportahan ba nila ay totoo na wala siyang hinahide o tinatago na yaman. So very simple po ang ating panawagan ng ating taong bayan. Katotohanan at huwag supilin ang katotohanan.
Last na lang po talaga. Over the weekend, may mga sinasabi po no, si Senator Judge Alan Peter Cayetano with regards to NBI Director Melvin Matibag. Yung latest nga po, tinawag pa niya minion, etc. Do you expect po na pagsalang po niya bukas, hindi po ba mape-personal na atake? I mean, hindi po ba mape-personal si NBI Director Matibag instead of focusing on the kung ano po yung kanyang ite-testify on the grave threats? Thank you po.
What we would expect is Director Matibag to respond to the question by both panels. We would expect him to inform the court or appraise the court based on the knowledge that he has surrounding the preliminary investigation. So, yun po yung ine-expect natin. In fact, hindi lang ho ine-expect, yun po yung ipapakita natin sa taong bayan at ipapresenta sa korte. Now, kung ano man po yung mga other issues, I don't think it should that the House Prosecution Panel also should intervene in matters that are internal between and among individuals. No?
Yes, stated by Kong Adjong, we will leave it to the presiding officer to determine what questions that may be posed by the senator judges will be considered to be appropriate and relevant to the matter at hand. No? But again, insofar as we're concerned for the prosecution, we remain focused on making sure that NBI Director Matibag will be able to share all material facts, no, with respect to the topic at hand, no, which is in dun sa grave threat. So he will be sharing the important investigation conducted by the NBI in relation to this matter.
Hello po, Eden Santos, Net25. Follow-up din po dun sa kay Director Matibag. Muli po kasing kumakalat ngayon sa SOCMED yung audio convo niya dun sa isang media personality na pinagmumura po niya at pinagbantaan na papatayin. Hindi po ba ito makaka-apekto dun sa kanyang pagtestigo, lalo na kung pwedeng basagin yung kanyang credibility?
Una, hindi ko po narinig itong video na to. Pangalawa, hindi po kami nagsasalita on behalf of for Attorney Matibag. Kung meron po siyang personal na dealing with any of the media personality that is business, I'm sure Attorney Matibag, Director Matibag, has a reason, no? Baka meron siyang rason kung bakit nagawa niya. Again, ang focus po namin is how to present him to the impeachment court base po sa kanyang knowledge, no? Kaalaman doon sa preliminary investigation. Maliban lang po doon, hindi na ho kami magdudwell doon sa mga issues na kumbaga hinaharap po ni Director Matibag.
At the end of the day, importante ho dito, tignan natin itong mga peripheral issues na to. May kinalaman ba siya sa magiging paksa ng kanyang testimonya? No? Which is, ano ang investigasyon na ginawa ng NBI paukol dun sa mga pag-amin ng Vice Presidente na meron siyang naging kasunduan sa isang mamamatay tao na patay ng Presidente. Now, kung yung mga issues na yan, although we don't have personal knowledge about them, wala akong kinalaman yan, hindi namin nakikita kung paano ito makakaapekto sa kanyang testimonya.
Kasi po yung defense posibleng maging isang way yun para basagin or tibagin yung credibility ni Director Matibag.
And that is their prerogative. They can try to do that, no? But at the end of the day, ang titignan natin at susuriin natin mabuti dito, ano yung ebidensya na ilalatag niya dito, no? All other matters are just noise if they have nothing to do with respect to the investigation that he conducted. So yun ho ang suriin natin, yung ebidensyang ilalapag niya kapag siya ay nagtestigo bukas.
Ang magiging participation lang po ni NBI Director is yung capacity niya o yung authority niya bilang the head of the NBI as an agency na sila po yung nag-imbestiga kay Vice Presidente, no? Patungkol doon sa pagbabanta niya sa Presidente, sa unang ginang at sa dating former speaker. Hindi ho magtatanong ang House Prosecution Panel o ipresenta si Director Matibag base po doon sa mga other na engagement niya with other individuals, no? Kung yun po yung gagawin, sabi nga po ni Attorney Jay, meron din namang strategy ang depensa. Pero ako, naniniwala ako na ang impeachment court, dahil meron silang Senate rules on impeachment, alam po ng mga nakaupong huwis kung ano yung mga paglatag ng tanong, ano yung mga relevant na tanong, ano yung mga hindi relevant na tanong. Alam naman po natin, based on the 2 weeks na trial, merong mga katanungan na hindi relevant at sinasabi naman po ng presiding officer na hindi ito angkop doon sa pinag-uusapan sa trial, impeachment trial under sa Article 4. So kung ano po yung magiging katanungan nila, alam naman ng mga huwis na hindi naman talaga siya konektado doon sa pagte-testify doon sa investigation na nagbanta ang Vice Presidente. Mukhang kami, naniniwala kami na ang impeachment court at ang presiding officer, dahil may Senate rules on impeachment, ay alam po nila kung ano i-call out ng relevant at irrelevant. Very clear po, irrelevant po kung ano man yung i-connect po nila na outside of the discussion under Article 4.
Are we expecting po na yung mga prosecutors natin, prosecutor natin ay tatayo din sa impeachment trial or yung mga private prosecutors lang po talaga?
Actually, ilang beses na din nating nakita, no, naging aktibo sa paglilitis nito, mga public prosecutors. Magmula pa lang sa unang araw, no, magmula doon sa opening statement ni Chair Jinky Luistro, sa opening statement din for threats ni Kong Noy Defensor. Nakita din natin, nag-engage sa oral arguments si Congressman Shell Jokno. So we can see, no, that they're very active in these proceedings. At yes, sa mga susunod na linggo, bukod dyan, magpe-presenta din sila ng mga testigo para sa prosecution.
All right. Thank you, Eden. Now, Ann, your turn.
Sir, good morning. Ann Soberano po of Bombo Radio. Sir, kung mapagbigyan po no, ang inyong kahilingan na isubpina po itong bank records, can the Vice President still challenge the subpoenas if they are issued? Attorney Tolosa.
Well, this is a compulsory process no, that will be issued by the impeachment court. And together with such a subpoena power, the impeachment court has also the authority and the power to enforce them. Whoever fails no, or refuses to comply with the subpoena, well, they will have to face the consequences that come with it. No? Merong contempt power ang impeachment court para pilitin ho yan. Now, kung anumang iba pang legal remedies that she would want to try to avail of, nasa kanya ho yan. But ang importante dito, kapag inisyo ang impeachment court, kailangan ho yung sundan. No? Kahit tulad ho ng kahit sinong tao, no? Hindi ho mahalaga yung personalidad, mahalaga yung proseso at ang batas. At sinasabi niyan, kailangang sundan kapag na-issuehan ho ng subpoena.
Sir, could the ruling be appealed or reconsidered?
They could ask for reconsideration of the impeachment court, no? And then that's also a matter that will be resolved by the same impeachment court. But to clarify, no, itong mga dokumento na to, they are not in the possession of the Vice President. They are in the possession of the AMLAC, of the banks, and the BIR. So, kapag ho ito ay granted, itong request for subpoena, ang susunod ho nito, hindi ang Vice Presidente. Ito hong mga institutions na ito ang magsusumite ng mga dokumento na to.
Last na po on my part.
Tatagdag ko lang, kailangan natin intindihin sa ating taong bayan na ang Vice Presidente ay hindi private individual. Ito po ay mga public records na inaasahan po bilang isang public official ay ibigay niya sa mga ahensyang nangangasiwa dito. So, kung pinag-uusapan po natin dito ay private individual, posible po, no? Ito si Attorney J, posible po din na magkaroon ng certain degree of restriction or confidentiality. Pero pinag-uusapan po natin dito yung kanyang fitness sa pagiging vice presidente. Kung ang kanyang ni-reflect doon sa salin niya ay tugma ba doon sa kanyang binabayarang buwis kada taon. No? So again, it is imperative for the Vice President, knowing that she is the second highest official in the land and a public officer at that, occupies a public office, which certainly, according to the Constitution and many other laws, should be, again, dahil pinag-usapan natin dito, impeachment trial, should be, again, resolved by the impeachment court as an institution that has the exclusive power to request for the records through a subpoena. So, yun lang po yung tatandaan natin at alam po ng taong bayan yun na hindi po siya individual, na private individual, siya po ay isang public officer.
Sir, thank you.
Hi, Kong Attorney. Good morning po. Yung regarding po ulit dun sa request nating BIR and bank records, I understand magagamit po ito para sa unexplained wealth. Tama po ba? Can we say that this is the strongest evidence na meron tayo for unexplained wealth? And if ever man po na hindi payagan, hihina po ba yung mga ebidensya natin?
Well, hindi naman nakabase sa iisa o dalawang ebidensya lang, no, yung ating articles of impeachment. No? We have other documentary and testimonial evidence. Gayunpaman, ang aim natin dito ay makita yung buong katotohanan. No? So regardless, if we have other evidence that could support the articles of impeachment, napakahalaga pa rin na makita natin itong mga ebidensya nito. No? In fact, regardless if you're pro or anti, the respondent, regardless of your leanings at this point, napakahalaga. Actually, dapat lahat tayo, hinihingi natin, tignan natin itong mga dokumento na to. Dahil kung naniniwala ka na walang paglabag sa batas na ginawa, all the more na dapat gusto mo ding makita to. Para once and for all, we could settle that question. Makikita natin, wala talaga itong mga tinatagong yaman na to. So, it's for the best interest of everyone involved, the impeachment court, na maghahatol dito sa impeachment na to, pati ang taong bayan na makita natin pare-pareho itong mga napakalagang mga ebidensya na ito.
very simple lang, no? Papayagan ba natin ang impeachment court na maghahatol base sa hindi kompletong dokumento o ebidensya? Di ba hindi naman natin papayagan yun, ang taong bayan ayaw payagan ng ganong klaseng hatol na hindi sapat doon sa naipresenta na ebidensya. Yun lang, very simple lang po yun, no? Kailangan mabigyan ng pagkakataon ang impeachment court na masuri, makita ang lahat ng ebidensyang kinakailangan para po ang hatol nila ay kompleto at hindi po base lang sa mga presumption. What if meron din palang ganitong klaseng dokumento na hindi natin nakita? What we do not want is to curtail the right of the impeachment court and also to probably preclude them from even arriving into a very partial, fair judgment. No? Hindi ho ito in favor of the prosecution. It can also be favor to the defense. It's not even a question of culpability. It's not even a question of conviction. It is a question whether the people really deserve to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So the only way for the people to know that is for the court to also have access and obtain these documents. Important for them to arrive in a fair, impartial judgment.
Last na lang po. If ever, we don't want to preempt yung magiging desisyon nila mamaya. If ever, whatever the decision of the senator judges, paano po tayo magre-react if ever man na hindi po nila payagan? Pwede po ba natin questionin yun? Or kung minsan, kung pwede man payagan, baka maging limitado yung access.
Well, of course, there are legal remedies that will be available to us. Pero as you've mentioned, ayaw naming pangunahan yan dahil para sa amin, we don't see any reason why the request for the issuance of subpoena will not be granted. Narinig natin ang mga argumento ng magkabilang panig at nananalig ho kami na pakikinggan ng impeachment court ang aming kahilingan at ang kahilingan ng ating mga kababayan, which is to see the truth. Sabi nga ni Kong Zia, this is not in favor of the prosecution. This is in favor of the truth. So lahat ho ng gustong makakita ng buong katotohanan, paukol sa bagay na to, sa yaman ng Vice Presidente, iisa lang ho dapat ang gusto natin, which is to see these documents.
Okay. Vel Custodio po from PTV. Sa matatandaan po na nung during the impeachment of Renato Corona noong 2012, yung mga ilang senador ay bumoto to open the financial records ni dating Chief Justice. And ilan nga po sa mga senador dito, sina Senator Alan Peter Cayetano and the rest of the senator who are also present dito. So, are we still expecting na they will keep their track records despite nga po nung differences in terms of political side?
Well, as pointed out by Kong Sheljok during the oral arguments, in the previous impeachment proceedings concerning the late CJ Corona, the presiding officer, Senator Chis Escudero, and Senator Alan Peter Cayetano voted in favor of disclosure of these financial documents. And if I remember correctly, we heard Senator Cayetano gave a comment saying, so I guess you already know how he will rule on the same topic. So, but again, siyempre, hindi natin sila pangungunahan kung anong magiging pagpapasya nila sa bagay na to. But of course, we're very much hopeful that they'll remain consistent with respect to this issue, which is that they're in favor of disclosure.
Ako, nakakatulong po yung mga experiences natin in the past. Hindi lang po sa ating mga senator judges, but ang buong sambayan ng Pilipino. Nakikita po nila at nakukompare nila kung ano yung naging desisyon ng Senado ng mga naunang mga impeachment trial. At inaasahan nila dahil ang pinag-uusapan po natin dito, pananagutan, katotohanan, kasi hindi nyo po pwedeng paghiwalayin yung pananagutan at katotohanan. Dapat ang pananagutan nakaakla rin sa katotohanan. So naintindihan nila at nakakatulong ito bilang isang basihan o isang reference para ang taong bayan nag-expect sila kung anong magiging tugon ng impeachment court na ito. Pero tatandaan po natin at babalikan po na talaga natin. Ang pinag-usapan po dito ay betrayal of public trust, hindi ba? So ang pinag-usapan po natin, yung opisina po, kung katanggap-tanggap pa, yung opisina na yon na nag-occupy ng office na yon ay hindi buong katotohanan ang kanyang dinideklara sa kanyang lawful or legal income. Pinag-usapan po natin dito dahil ang kanyang opisina ay niloklok siya ng taong bayan dyan, ang kanyang opisina ay pag-aaring ng taong bayan. Kaya nga po may principle tayo sa Constitution, betrayal public office is a public trust. Very clear po yung presentasyon ng House Prosecution Panel. Meron pong betrayal of public trust dahil hindi po, no, para sa aming palagay, hindi po purong katotohanan lang yung nadeklara doon sa kanyang salin at saka binabayaran po niya ng ITR. Kaya nga po dapat nating tandaan itong impeachment court, impeachment trial na ito, pagdating po sa usaping tagong yaman, ay dapat nating may pakita sa ating taong bayan ng impeachment court ay hindi lang po naiintindihan ang kanilang kailang power or authority, pero nararamdaman din po nila yung pulso ng ating taong bayan na alam naman po natin meron na ho tayong reference sa mga naunang mga impeachment trial nung Estrada impeachment trial at pati na rin po yung very recent yung Corona impeachment trial na isa sa naging rason kung bakit siya na-impeach ay ang kanyang hindi pagdideklara ng kanyang salin nung mga panahon na hindi pa siya mahistrado.
Any follow-up? Okay. Kindly pass the mic to Rosalie. Now let's hear Rosalie's question.
Good morning po, sirs. Are you expecting po the Senate Impeachment Court to grant your request to subpoena the tax records of the Vice President?
Well, again, we will not preempt the action to be taken by the impeachment court on this. That discretion falls in the impeachment court. But we're very hopeful that they will grant it, again, since it's based on strong legal basis.
We do not speculate, but we are optimistic that the Senate will grant the request of the House Prosecution Panel, as again explained earlier, referencing to the previous Corona trial.
But if ever the Senate Impeachment Court grants your request, ano pong expectation nyo po from the President? From President Bongbong Marcos Jr., if ever the Senate Impeachment Court grants your request for subpoena of tax records of the Vice President and her spouse?
Well, again, let's wait for the impeachment court's ruling on this because it's possible that the impeachment court will sustain the prosecution's position that there's even no need for the president's consent. Why? Because the Constitution trumps special laws. No? Dahil ang unang posisyon ho namin dito, no? Mas supreme, no, ang Constitution natin, which grants the impeachment court the sole authority to decide and try impeachment proceedings. Kasama ho dito sa kapangyarihan nila, no, na litisin ang impeachment proceedings ay mag-issue ng subpoena. So, again, this is the highest form of accountability mechanism in the Constitution. So, ang paniniwala namin dito, mas mataas ito, no, dun sa provisions ng National Internal Revenue Code. So, para makita ang buong katotohanan, mayroong karapatan at kapangyarihan ang Senate sitting as an impeachment court para i-compel ang BIR na ipresenta ang mga dokumento na ito. No? So, hintayin ho natin kung anong magiging pagpapasya ng impeachment court. It's also possible na sasabihin din ng impeachment court na tulad ng nangyari doon sa nakaraang impeachment proceeding na kinakailangang i-require ng BIR commissioner ang BI commissioner na mag-request ng consent ng presidente. But again, ayaw ho nating pangunahan kung ano magiging pagpapasya ng impeachment court dito.
Pero you don't see the President disapproving, if ever, yun pong request, if ever po, ng BIR Commissioner?
I think what Attorney Jay has sufficiently explained to us is that, number one, the impeachment court having to exercise a very extraordinary power. This is actually a constitutional directive to the impeachment court to exercise. We feel that it will no longer be required for the president, again, for the president to intervene in this matter, because that already sufficient for the BIR to release this ITR by virtue of a subpoena power that will be issued by the impeachment court. No? So, yun lang po yung position na we don't want to speculate on matters that what would happen or matters that are still pending, because pending na pa rin po ang aming request for subpoena. So baka, Ross, baka pagdating ng panahon, baka si Yusek Castro ang magbigay sa'yo ng kasagutan. But as in the meantime, we are focused on the request of a subpoena, which is still pending, and we will expect that oral argument will continue today.
Another topic po. We know naman po, we are aware of the rising tensions between certain senator judges, for example po, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, Senator Ping Lacson, and Senator Erwin Tulfo. Do you see these developments affecting the trial or madadivert ang attention ng public dun po sa tension na yon kesa po dito sa impeachment trial? Is that a cause for concern?
Well, again, this is not something that we would expect and we hope to see. No? To be honest with you, as a colleague of the senators, because Congress is composed of two chambers, it is not for me, hindi ho sumasaya, hindi masaya na makita o nakakabigay ng saya na makita ang ating mga senador na may kanilang, and this does not reflect the position of the House Prosecution Panel. I'm speaking as a member of Congress. No? It does not give us any satisfaction to see our colleagues having this trouble within and among themselves. No? But again, when you speak about the impeachment proceedings, I think it should not also be appropriate and fair for the House Prosecution Panel to be dragged in an internal matters or internal issues between and among the sitting judges. So I hope this can be resolved. Again, I hope they can have their own way of resolving this, since this is a separate issue altogether from the impeachment trial that we are conducting and we're having right now.
And these are internal matters that we believe will be best addressed and resolved by the members of the Senate internally. No? But we also trust that the presiding officer will make sure that we will not lose sight of the matter that should be the main focus of everyone involved in these impeachment proceedings, which is to allow the process to continue, no? And allow the parties to present their respective evidence in a proper and efficient manner.
All right. Vivian, it's your turn.
Just a follow-up on that, may panawagan po ba kayo sa impeachment court, presiding officer regarding po dito sa matter na to? Kasi I understand last hearing, parang a good number of minutes na-dedicate doon sa pag-discuss ng matter. Ang hindi medyo lihis dito sa impeachment. Kung may panawagan lang po from you as a lawmaker or as a spokesperson of the prosecution.
Well, una, ako personally, ako naniniwala po ako sa at confident po ako sa pag-handle ng ating presiding officer sa mga naging takbo, no? I think ang ating the way I observe, no? And again, hindi ho ito yung official position ng House Prosecution Panel. Ako, observation ko po bilang isang Pilipino din na gusto ring matapos itong proseso na to. No. I think the presiding officer is conscious about being legal at the same time the political issue in question that surrounds the impeachment trial. Sinasabi ho natin dito, sui generis ito, hindi lang ho ang mga senador, ang ating mga huwis, ang taong bayan din po ang ating mga huwis. That's why kung meron pong leeway or elbow room for not necessarily strictly implementing legal rules in the Senate with the vision that this is the way for our ordinary kababayan to understand what is being discussed in the impeachment court. Yun po yung aking obserbasyon kung this is how the presiding officer handles the impeachment trial. No? Pagdating naman po doon sa mga in connection with yung katanungan po ni Ma'am Ros, again, confident din po ako dahil mayroon silang Senate Rules of Impeachment. Alam naman po ng ating mga senador at ang presiding officer kung ano po yung mga hindi issues na outside doon sa pinag-uusapan na article. And I'm sure, having observed the presiding officer, to allow other people to understand efficiently what is being discussed under the articles of impeachment, Article 4, ako, optimistic ako na dahil alam niya na hindi yun makakadagdag sa pag-unawa at pag-intindi ng ating taong bayan na mas effective doon sa pinag-usapan sa impeachment court. Outside of it, alam ko, confident po ako na hindi ho magiging platform ang impeachment trial para sa mga individual po na hindi pagkakaunawaan ng mga senador. And that is my personal take on that. It does not, again, carry the position of the House Prosecution Panel.
I think everyone's in agreement at this point that Senator Chis Escudero has been presiding over the proceedings in a fair, proper, and judicious manner, and we trust that he will continue to do so. No? And he will make sure that we remain focused on the important issues at hand, which is again the articles of impeachment, and we will not be distracted from peripheral matters that have nothing to do with these proceedings.
So, dapat po tumutok lang dun sa merits ng articles of impeachment.
Yes po. Dahil yun naman talagang inaasa ng taong bayan. No? Kaya nga po sinasabi ko kanina, kung obserbahan niyo po yung naging handling ng ating presiding officer, hindi masyadong technical, hindi masyadong stricto dahil naintindihan niya na parte doon sa legal and technical na aspeto ng impeachment court. Ito po ay isang political question na pinag-uusapan po natin dito, yung fitness ng pangalawang Pangulo, na whether mag-continue ba siya as Vice President. And the way to do that and the way he was handling it is para maintindihan po ng ating taong bayan kung ano na pag-uusapan sa impeachment court. No? Kasi hindi naman ho lahat ng taong bayan, ordinaryong mamamayan ay naintindihan mga legal jargons. No? So, base po doon sa nakita natin, confident po ako na kung ano man yung mapag-usapan dyan na hindi makakatulong sa pag-intindi ng ating taong bayan sa napag-uusapan sa impeachment court, confident po ako na hindi ho ito magiging paksa sa proceeding sa impeachment court dahil meron pong Senate rules na kanila po, rules on impeachment na kanila pong sinusubaybayan at pinapractice. No?
Last na lang po, paglilinaw lang po kasi parang nare-reference yung mga ruling ng ibang senator judges dun sa Corona trial when it comes to disclosure of bank records. Pero parang Senator Judge Cayetano was making a distinction between yung records, financial records nung mismong official at yung asawa at yung mga kumpanyang related sa kanila. Covered po ba ng exemptions even yung sa financial records ng asawa po at pati po yung mga kumpanya na related sa kanila?
Well, what you have to remember is in the SAL-N, what is declared there is the conjugal properties of the Vice President and her husband. No? So, nakadeklara ho doon na around 80 million na total net worth. Kasama ho dyan yung conjugal properties nila. So, ngayon, para masuri natin kung accurate ba itong amount na declared sa kanyang SAL-N, kailangan natin makita din ang conjugal assets nila as reflected in their bank records. As well as ano yung pareho nilang kinita sa same period na to na makikita naman natin sa kanilang mga BIR filings.
Vivian, ito yung sinasabi nila sa inyo sa church, no? In richness and in health, in poorer or in richer or in poorer, till death do us part. Ganun talaga by virtue of the union. Talaga magkasama kayo. At hindi ba sinasabi niyo yan pag kinakasal, no? For ano yan? In sickness and in health, no? For richer or poorer, till death do us part.
Kahit private person.
I think ito si Attorney Jay, he will correct me kung but by virtue of a union, itong marriage, by virtue of that marriage and that union, legally speaking, you're treated as one entity.
Because again, what we want to see here, are the total assets of the Vice President, her total funds. Para makita to, as explained by Kong Zia, dahil siya ay merong asawa, under our laws, conjugal property ho yan. Kung ano yung mga property na sa pangalan ng iyong asawa, property mo rin ho yan. So, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, gusto nating makita sa impeachment proceedings na to, nadeklara ba ng tama ang buong yaman ng Vice Presidente sa kanyang salin as required under the rules? Isang paraan lang para makita ang sagot sa katanungan na yan. Kailangan natin makita ang buong yaman niya. So, kailangan natin makita anong yaman na nakapangalan sa kanya at ano din ang nakapangalan sa kanyang asawa. Dahil yan, again, as I mentioned, kasama yan sa kanyang kabuong yaman.
Hello po, Lance from Newswatch Plus. Yung mga nagrarally po sa labas, yung ilan sa mga sinasabi po nila ay yung iba daw pong senador ay obvious na may pinapanigan. So sa hanay po ng prosecution, do you see any actions from the senator judges na nagpakita na sila ng partiality during the proceedings? Kasi yung mga ilan sa ating mga kababayan, yun po yung nagiging puna nila, na yung ilang mga senador tila may dinedepensahan na. So do you believe in those observations as well?
Well, sa amin sa prosecution, hanggang ngayon, umaasa, naniniwala at nananalig pa rin kami, natatalima ang lahat ng mga senator judges sa kanilang obligations under the rules on impeachment to observe political neutrality, which means that they should participate in these proceedings without any undue discrimination towards anyone and regardless of their political preferences and affiliations. So, umaasa pa rin kami, nananalig kami na ang mga senator judges natin maghahatol, magpapasya, base pa rin sa ebidensya na ilalatag ng magkabilang panig sa paglilitis na ito.
Pero sir,
Dagdag ko lang. Yung neutrality na sinasabi ni Attorney Jay, hindi lang namin yan inaasahan. Base po yan sa Senate impeachment rules. Sinasabi po talaga dyan, maging neutral po ang ating mga senator huwes. Pero I think the ultimate message that pinapakita natin sa obserbasyon natin kung bakit nagkakaroon na rin ng ganong klaseng clamor engagement ang ating publiko, ay unang-una, very clear po na ang messaging dito ay tama, sui generis, legal and political. Dahil ang ating mga senador, ang Senate ay political office po ito. So directly ang ating employers ay ang taong bayan. That's why sinasabi sa Constitution, public office is a public trust. So nakikita natin na yung ating mga taong bayan ay nagmamasid din, nag-evaluate din, at sila rin ang tumatayong kumbaga, kalahati sa magiging huwis itong impeachment trial na ito. So yun lang po yung nakikita natin na obserbasyon dahil nga katotohanan ang gusto nilang malaman.
Sir, sorry, sabi niyo po umaasa kayo na the senator judges will be politically neutral at this point. Are they being politically neutral at this point?
Well, it's really hard to get inside the minds of the individual senator judges. But again, the House Prosecution Panel continues to present, evidence and testimonies of the witnesses for the senator judges to have sufficient, information or sufficient reason for them to arrive into impartial and sound judgment. No? As to how they are, they care themselves in the court, trabaho po nila yan, na magtanong sa depensa at magtanong sa prosecution panel.
So it looks like you're really trying to get me cited in contempt, ano? Ano, pero masabi lang namin, wag muna natin silang pangunahan. Bigyan natin pagkakataon, no, na pakita sa ating lahat na tatalima sila sa obligasyon nila to remain politically neutral at magpapasya sila, no? Magbibigay sila ng paghahatol again base sa ebidensya, base sa katotohanan. Dahil at the end of the day, yan ang sigurado naming hihingin ng ating mga kababayan. Ano?
Tsaka matagal pa itong impeachment trial, wag masyadong excited. So, tingnan po natin anong magiging daloy nitong impeachment trial na ito.
Right, for our last question, Joseph.
Sir, good afternoon. With regard to the subpoena, I think second day na touch on, I think you're going to you want to look into 7 banks, 2 in Green Hills, 5 in Davao, correct? How many bank accounts are we talking about here? To whom do this belong to? Are there joint accounts with the Vice President? Can we have them details?
We will have to look at the records to make sure that we'll be able to give you the specifics. No, but what is clear is that all of these bank accounts are based on the AMLAC reports that were submitted by the executive director, no, of AMLAC. So this is not a general inquiry into her bank accounts. No, alalahanin natin in those suspicious transaction reports and covert transaction reports. What was specified there are not just the amounts, but the specific bank accounts, no, and the branches that were involved in these financial transactions. So, specific ho yan, no? So, both belonging to the Vice President and the husband and the financial interest as well, meaning companies where they have financial interest.
Are there any joint accounts aside from Attorney Mans?
Babalikan ko lang kasi just to remind you, I think Attorney J was referencing during the confirmation hearing of the Committee on Justice where AMLA presented these documents, again, flagged by AMLA as under suspicious transactions. We're not talking about the branch alone, the amount, but we're also talking about the in and out of the withdrawal and the deposits of certain amounts over the course of months or of course a number of months and years. So yun po yung titingnan natin. It's very specific, no. As to whether this will be again, Jay, the question is conjugal assent. It is explained by Attorney J. It covers accounts of both the wife, the respondent, Vice President Sara Duterte, with that of her husband, Attorney Mans Carpio.
Just the 2 of them, no more other personalities?
I'll have to get back to you on that just to make sure that we'll be able to give you an accurate information. But what is certain is that either the Vice President or her husband or jointly, they're the ones who own these accounts. But as to whether their accounts jointly owned by the Vice President and another person, I will have to check. But what I can assure you is that they involve the Vice President.
Sir, shift lang ng konti. Sir, closing tomorrow kay Director Matibag, will he be adding anything more or will he just be repeating what Lotok and Kalilong have already testified to?
I think Jay will give, but it's as a general information that we can share to you without giving away much kasi hindi pa natin na papakinggan ang kanyang testimonya. No? I think number one is very clear that he will again corroborate the testimonies of Mr. Kalilong and Attorney Lotok. He would confirm as to how the investigation is proceeding. Those are the things that probably the House Prosecution Panel will be asking Director Matibag. Doon po sa yung ano yung magiging anong status na, no, just to be just to give you a general info, just the status of that investigation. As to the details, Attorney J can respond to that.
Well, I'm sure you could understand why I can't give you the details of his testimony tomorrow. But what I can tell you is that aside from corroborating testimonies given by our two witnesses, he will be giving important information. And I can also assure you that you wouldn't want to miss his testimony tomorrow.
I'll be more direct. Because ang senators were interested last week na parang even the public probably, no? Ang issue is, okay, may threats, may assassination threats, but mayroon bang actual na whether it's material to the offense or not, but the question is, meron bang nakontrata talaga? Will Director Matibag be able to answer that?
Okay. First of all, let me be clear. Meron bang nakontrata? Our position here is there's no more question about it. Meron. Anong basis? Sorry. Ang admission against interest ng Vice Presidente herself. Again, under rules on evidence, this is one of the highest forms of evidence. No? It's an admission against interest. She clearly stated, that she already had an agreement with an assassin to assassinate the president. And 3 days after, when she was given an opportunity to correct her statement, take it back, say it was a joke or whatever, she did not do that. She doubled down and she tried to defend that statement by saying that revenge from the grave is not a criminal act. So first, is there already an assassin? Has that been established? The position of the prosecution is yes. Now, will Director Matibag also testify on that matter? Again, please, let's wait for his testimony tomorrow. And again, I assure you, you wouldn't want to miss his testimony tomorrow.
All right.
Gusto ko lang kasi as an ordinary person. As an ordinary person, again, let's go back to what we have been saying all along. Na this is not a criminal proceeding, no? Na kailangan wala talagang beyond reasonable doubt. I think if you ask me personally, I think it's whether or not there's really that hitman na nakontrata, it's already irrelevant. The point here is that, is it tolerable? Is it acceptable based on constitutional standard for a sitting second highest official in the land to make these grave threats against a sitting president? I think that's the most important question that we need to ask of the Vice President. Hindi ho nila na-refute yun. Totoo siyang nagbanta. Whether or not meron kayong muka, may pangalan, may tao, that to me is irrelevant. The point is, this is a trial where we actually measure the fitness of the Vice President according to the Constitution. Tama ba? Allowed ba based sa constitutional standard na magbanta ang Vice President laban kanino man?
Sir, medyo advancer lang ng konti. Assuming we do finish today with the ruling and we proceed with the Director Matibag and we finish with Matibag tomorrow, were you able, was the prosecution able to convince the senator judges that number one, the threats are real and totoo, sinasabi niyo, but do they rise to an impeachable offense? Kasi yun yung parang nandun yung mga senators na parang, okay, baka yung they maybe kind of agree with what the defense is saying, that these are ordinary crimes, RTC, MTC. But to you, were you able to, since we're closing Article 4, were you able to convince the court with your 3 witnesses that this is a impeachable offense?
Okay. Well, first, out of respect to the impeachment court, who has been granted the sole authority to decide on this matter, we will not preempt the judgment that they will reach. This is the decision that's for them to make. But what we can say is we are confident with the evidence that we have presented. Maliwanag na wala ng question dun sa video kung saan ginawa ng Vice Presidente ang pananakot at pag-amin. Kailangan kong ulit-ulitin to. Pag-amin na meron na siyang nakausap na mamatay tao na patay ng Presidente, ang First Lady at ang noong Speaker of the House, at itong tao na to ay pumayag na. At huwag natin kalimutan itong napaka-importanting detalye. Hindi siya tumigil doon. In-explain pa niya, inanunsyo niya sa lahat, anong instructions niya sa bagay na to? Be relentless in carrying it out. Huwag kang tumigil hanggat hindi mo sila napapatay. So, meron pa bang question? Kung sinabi niya itong bagay na to, hindi, wala na. Tulad ng sinabi ko din kanina, meron ding bang question? Meron na ba kaming ebidensya na nagpapakita na meron talagang tao? Tulad ho ng sinabi ni Attorney Lotok nung tinatanong siya, no, cross-examination and by the senators, napakaliwanag din ang sagot niya. Meron, bakit? It came from the admission against interest of the respondent herself. No? So now, to answer your question, no, does this show that does this rise to a level of an impeachable offense? No? Pwede ho ba natin i-consider na to na pagtataksil sa tiwala ng bayan? No? Pwede ba itong makonsider na isang malakas at hindi katanggap-tanggap na paglabag sa saligang batas? Again, kailangan ko hong balikan ano ang from the start na sinabi ni Chairman Jinky Luistro at ni Kong Noy Defensor. Sa buong history, no, kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, minsan lang, ngayon lang na nangyari na nagkaroon tayo ng vice-presidente na merong kaugnayan sa isang mamatay tao. Vice-presidente na nagkaroon ng agreement, no? Nagkaroon ng kasunduan sa isang mamamatay tao na patay no less than the president himself. Tingin ko maliwanag ang sagot na yan, no, sa mga kababayan natin. Kung katanggap-tanggap ba na manatili sa posisyon ang pangalawang pinakamataas na lingkod bayan. So again, we will not preempt, no, the decision of the impeachment court on this, but we trust on the evidence that we've presented so far.
Joseph, dadagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Attorney Jay. The Vice President cannot separate her personality from the office that she occupies. An office, according to the Constitution, is an impeachable offense. So kung ano mo po yung ginawa niya, sinabi niya doon sa video na yon na grave threat. By the way, grave threat is in itself a crime. No? Kung siya po ay private individual, probably, may bababa ito sa mga lower courts, like halimbawa MTC, RTC. But we're not actually dealing with her as a person. We are accounting her for the office that she represents and she occupies, which is the second highest official in the land. Number two, to me, it's really it's constituting impeachable offense because number one, you don't have to wait until somebody lies down lifeless in the street. A grave threat is a grave threat precisely because it has not been consummated yet. Kung may namatay, hindi na yun grave threat. Murder na yun ang kaso doon. No? And I hope they will not be successful. Kasi ang sinabi niya, wag kang titigil, di ba? And I hope to God, and God forbid, that they will never be successful because we don't want the president and her the first lady and former speaker na may mangyari po sa kanilang hindi masama. I think the question that we also ask our people is this. Moving forward, looking forward, tama lang ba na yung isang opisyal ay wala siyang level of restraint na paggalit lang ay pwede na siyang magbanta kung ano-ano lang at makipag-usap kani-kanino lang sa isang mamamatay tao para patayin ang mga para sa kanya ay perceived to be her or his enemy. Imagine if that person actually demands authority from let's say for example if he or she is a commander-in-chief, 'di ba? Na meron siyang access sa mga ganitong resources ng gobyerno tapos pag magalit ay God forbid may mangyari sa mga hindi niya kasundo para sa kanya. So I think that's the ultimate question that we need to ask ourselves. Is this acceptable? Do we even expect this from our public officers, let alone a second highest official in the land? So, yun ang parati nating babalikan na tanong. ng tanong ng ating taong bayan. Ito ba ay katanggap-tanggap na pamamaraan kung paano i-express na isang halal publiko ang kanyang galit na alam naman po natin na merong constitutional standard na sineset ng ating saligang batas at meron din pong ang opisina na kanyang ino-occupy ay dinideklara na isang impeachable office. So always po natin 'yun binabalikan at always po 'yun ang katanungan ng ating taong bayan. At yun po yung pinipresenta ng House Prosecution Panel sa impeachment court na ito.
All right. On that note, taking from Kong, we should move on. So salamat po sa ating mga kaibigan sa media at sa ating mga panauhin ngayon, si Congressman si Alonto Diong, Attorney Benjamin J. Toloso Jr. At sa ating mga kaibigan na sumusubaybay, patuloy po nating tutukan ang mga kaganapan ngayong hapon, sama-sama tayong sumubaybay. Magandang tanghali sa